The SHIELD Act applies to any individual or company, including those outside the state of New York, who own or license computerized data that contains the private, sensitive information of any resident of New York State. So just like California's CCPA or EU's GDPR, it includes extra-jurisdictional application. How will the SHIELD Act affect your business? What does this mean for clients? Let's dive into our overview of the Stop Hacks and Improve Electronic Data Security Act, the SHIELD Act. The SHIELD Act. The SHIELD Act will require qualifying companies to enforce and maintain practical data protection measures in an effort to protect the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, CIA, of the private information being handled. The SHIELD Act has guidelines it considers practical safeguards, which include designing a party to manage programs that include data security for its outside service providers. Moreover, the effect of the statute is to order companies that access, maintain, or utilize sensitive information to develop and execute adequate data security programs. Data security requirements. Businesses or individuals that own or license computerized data that holds sensitive information regarding a New York resident need to create, implement, and preserve practical safeguards in effort of protecting the confidentiality, integrity, and availability, CIA, security of the personal data. In order to comply, the entity must do one of two things. First, they could maintain a compliant information protection program under the Health Insurance Portability and Accountability Act, HIPAA, the Gramm-Leach-Bliley Act, GLBA, the Health Information Technology for Economic and Clinic Health Act, HITECH Act, the State of New York's DFS Cyber Rules, and/or all other applicable New York or federal government cybersecurity regulations. Or second, they could maintain a security program that has practical administrative, physical, and technical safeguards. The protections need only be practical for the complexity or size of the entity, the scope or nature of the company's activities, and/or the vulnerability of the data that's being collected regarding the NY resident. Sensitive breach notifications. The statute will order a breach of security notification by the entity conducting business in the state where 1. Private information compromised is computerized information. Additionally, 2. The data compromised is presumed to have been acquired and/or accessed by an entity without appropriate authorization. Once you understand what data is covered and what actions are covered under New York's SHIELD Act, you also need to carefully understand your breach notification obligations. 1. What goes into the breach notice. 2. How New York residents need to be notified. And 3. Your regulatory breach notice obligations. Not all privacy breach notice obligations are the same. NY SHIELD breach notification requirements are unique. What does your company need to do? Implement and monitor a formal corporate privacy and security policy at the highest levels. CEO is recommended in the event of a breach. Designate an employee to coordinate the data security program. Train employees in security program practices and procedures. Access internal and external risks and implement controls to reduce those risks. Vet service providers contractually required to safeguard private information. Destroy private information after it's no longer needed for business purposes. There are currently 17 states considering privacy regulations thus far in 2020, and you need to remain ahead of that curve. New York's Stop Hacks and Improve Electronic Data Security Act has made substantial changes to New York law that will affect all establishments holding the computerized data of New York residents. Whether you are a major corporation or a small business, you'll need to be compliant with the new law in order to continue holding NY resident personal information. Consider contacting a well-versed attorney for more information. Attorney John P. O'Brien is exceptionally experienced in technology and the law as it pertains to it. Please let us know if this is of interest by giving it a like or leaving a comment. And visit our site for more great tech law news, guides, and insights.